Hello, everyone, and good evening. Tonight I will be talking to you about Raisin in the Sun, a popular play and movie written by Lorraine Hansberry. Okay, so during the beginning stages of the play, a character named Walter can be heard stating, and I quote, he says that this is just what is wrong with the colored women in this world. Don't understand about the building their men up and making them feel like somebody. To his wife, Ruth, when discussing his plans opening his own liquor store in town. Ruth at first is skeptical of Walter's demands because he is asking Ruth to ask Grandma Lena for money to invest in a liquor store that he wants to buy. After reading this scene, I feel like Ruth has been supportive to Walter because even though she may not agree with everything he plans to do in the future, she still stands by him faithfully. Ruth has given him a beautiful son to raise and an ear to listen to when Walter needs it most. But speaking from Walter's perspective, I can see why readers may take Ruth's actions as unsupportive. However, I think that Ruth is hesitant to speak to Grandma Lena because she is uncomfortable manipulating her for money to open a liquor store. Grandma Lena is vehemently against opening a liquor store because it goes against her religious beliefs. And watching the movie, I can tell that she really doesn't want Walter to open a liquor store in town and use the money that her husband, who is Walter's father, give them to open that. Grandma Lena would rather prefer the money that she has inherited to go to Benitha's research as a doctor and to give her grandson a new home to live in. I actually like Grandma Lena's approach to spending the money because it's more practical than Walter's. And I feel like Grandma Lena sees how the money is going to be able to last for generations. Whereas Walter, I feel like we don't know if the liquor store will even pay off and if he'll even be able to reap the benefits of that. Later on in the act, Ruth says, and I quote, "I listen to you every day, every night, and you never say nothing new," which shows her frustration towards Walter's desperate attempts for fulfilling his dreams of becoming a businessman. Walter retaliates by insulting black women, saying, and I quote, "We are a group of men tied to a race of women with small minds." I found Walter's comments about black women to be very disturbing and sexist, but I can't be surprised because this is just how men would communicate back then. Moving on to the next topic. As an African American myself, I feel like a prominent issue in this play is the blatant discrimination that the younger family faces when they move into their new home with a bunch of other white Americans who are racist. I feel like this is strictly an African American problem due to the harsh discrimination and racist laws created during the early 20th century. The story takes place in 1959 Chicago, when discrimination and segregation is very much prevalent in American society. When the family moves into their new home, the white neighbors are depicted with looks of disgust, nervousness, and aversion towards the family. This is a specifically black issue that black people in America face specifically because of just horrible discrimination. A universal issue, on the other hand, could be interpreted as the vicious cycle of poverty that is widespread in America. Poverty is an issue many people face inside and out of America. It may seem like an inescapable hell for most people. And the main story behind this play, in the first place, is the struggle of a family in the face of poverty. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. All people can and do experience problems paying their own basic necessities and paying for their child's education or just paying for food and clothing, and no one should have to go through that. On to the last part of this video response, the ending. I found the ending for this play to be both happy and sad in my opinion. I feel like the ending of the play was beautiful because even when Walter lost all the money inherited by his mother, the family still held together despite this horrible accident, and they were able to still keep it together because they're used to not having money in the first place when Walter lost it. I feel like that wasn't a huge impact on the rest of the family because they were already used to being poor. The family still ends up moving into their new home despite it being in a segregated neighborhood, which I think is a step up for them, but also it may lead to more problems with their neighbors in the future. But this was not covered in the story. I feel like this is a bittersweet ending because it just tells the story of a hard-working and laboring African American family and their escape from poverty. And I feel like that is just a beautiful ending to a beautiful narrative. And I really like what the author did with this story. Thank you for listening.